I last reported on Octopus Go when there was an increase to the peak electricity costs. Well, since that video, there's been another increase, and that is not only to the peak, but also to the off-peak rate, increasing it from the 5 pence per kilowatt hour we all hear about. Now, the big question is, if you are on Octopus Go, or you're not an Octopus Go customer, and you're thinking of buying an electric car, how do you know what the cheapest energy deal is? Are you better on Octopus Go, or you're better on a standard variable tariff, or are you better fixing on another deal with someone else? Well, stick around for today's video to find out how. I'm not going to talk about why Octopus rates have gone up because I've done videos on the wholesale market and what's affecting that, and you can see that top right. But what we are going to be looking at is if I re-signed my electricity tariff with Go today, what would my costs be? Well, if you want to find out your local rates for your area, because they change for everyone else, they won't be the same as mine, you can go to evnic.com/energy. There's a link there to find out your local Octopus rate. And there's also a link there if you're not with Octopus and you decide to sign up at the end, there's a £50 sign up bonus, and I also get £50 to share with you as well. So £50 each, £100 split. Now when I put my postcode into the Octopus rate checker, I can see that my peak rate has doubled to what I was used to be paying. It's now down at 30.15p, and my off peak rate is now gone from 5 pence per kilowatt to 7.5p, which is a big increase. Not only on the off-peak is double, 100% increase, but the off-peak rate of 5p has gone up. And this is the rate that I'm really surprised Octopus have changed, because it's just a nice rounded number. It would look really good when people were comparing and saying how much their EV was costing, but they have obviously essentially had to put the prices up. They're obviously losing money on that, and the cost of buying energy has gone up significantly, even during those off-peak times. Now what I've done in this data I'm going to be using a long piece of data, lots of basically meter reads, and it's just because of the way Octopus billed me for this last bill quarter. So it was from November to January. I used 1036 kilowatt hours, and that's about 522 off-peak, meaning that I averaged across all my usage 9 pence a kilowatt hour for my entire electricity use. Now, I've shoved this all into a spreadsheet system that you'll be able to use and calculate for your own use, because you might be different. I'm pretty much a 50-50 user, so it's quite easy to see that my average is basically half of the peak rate. But you might be on a different rate, you might be different usage, you might use more off peak or less off peak than me. So there is a handy little spreadsheet that we can go to over on evnic.com/energy. And if you've not got an electric car, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, the top of this spreadsheet, I have put in my old rates. Now, just bear in mind, if you are using your bill, your rates will be minus 5% VAT. So just add 5% VAT onto whatever it says your unit rate is, and that will give you the unit rate for making these calculations. Also bear in mind that for this spreadsheet, I have not included the daily standing charge, which is pretty much easy to work out. You can see it on your Octopus rates when you get them, and you can also look at whatever rates you're on if you're with a different company and not with Octopus at the moment. But the rates are there, top rates, and we put them in, and we can see what the calculator's throwing out is exactly what my bill is for electricity, which is exactly what I'd expect it to be. And you can see there that my average rate with the VAT is 9.5 pence and a couple of decimal places. So it's pretty much, spreadsheet's working fine. You can change around the unit rate if you're with a different supplier for different off-peak and on-peak rates, and just have a little bit of a mess around. Bear in mind that Octopus Go does a 4-hour fix from 12:30 till 4:30. They also do some go faster rates, which I've done a video on what those timings are, but don't forget that video was prior to this rate increase. Now, as you can see, this change at the bottom, when I put in the new rates for the Octopus Go, so the 7.5p and the 30 pence peak rate, you can see that there, on this bill alone, there would be a £100 increase, £100 more for this November to January stretch. Now that is a big increase. That's a huge amount. But we know that energy has gone up. It's all over the news. It's being reported all the time. It's to be expected. And is that meaning that now Octopus Go is the most expensive tariff to go? Is it too expensive at 30p a kilowatt and 7.5p off peak? Well, Not for my usage. As you can see there, my estimated bill for if I was using the same data from this and it was being rebuilt today, you can see that even now that my average rate is still under 20p a kilowatt hour. Now 19p a kilowatt sounds like a crazy amount for electricity per unit. It sounds absolutely nuts, but we're living in different times. In fact, I looked today, the cheapest fixed electricity contract is 33p a kilowatt hour. That's the cheapest unit anywhere I can find on the market. Now, if you're on a variable standard rate tariff at the moment, you're probably paying around about 20-ish p, 22p. So it's still cheaper than a variable standard tariff at 19p. But bear in mind, in April, the new price cap comes in, which means that we're going to see an increase of probably about 50-60% on the cost of energy. Now, I've got a nice 50-50 energy split, so to see what I'm using and work out my bills, it's really easy of just looking at my energy, getting my peak or off peak for my bill and putting it in. But what if you don't have a smart meter? What if you're not currently an Octopus Go? What if you currently don't have an electric vehicle? Well, if you're any of these, there is a part of my spreadsheet right at the bottom, if you click there, and it basically says haven't got an EV. And it will ask you a couple of questions about your car. One of them is the miles per kilowatt hour. So this is like an average of what you think you're going to get over the year based on your winter and summer driving. Put that in and put out your annually mileage of what you're going to do a year. And it will give you a rough month of kilowatt hour usage. So it'll tell you roughly how many bits of energy you're going to use to charge that car per month. Now put that entire figure in the off-peak part of my spreadsheet, so that whatever it says you're going to use, put the whole thing in. Now 99.99999% of all your energy for charging your electric vehicle will be done off peak, because you're going to be an intelligent EV owner that's going to charge up when you need during off peak. But occasionally you're going to have an emergency and you're going to charge peak, and you'll never do it again because it never really happens. It's something that you worry about in the back of your head that you're going to do, and if you had to do it, you're just going to pay a little bit more. But trust me, once you've had an EV for more than a couple of months, you will only ever charge off peak, and you'll never worry about charging peak, and you'll never probably charge peak as soon as you get used to that routine. And what's worth bearing in mind is once you've been an EV owner for a while and you've got one of these off-peak tariffs, you will do other load shifting to off-peak. Might be a washing machine, might be a dishwasher, it might be a whole host of other electronics that you can set to charge up during those cheat rates at night. What I really want to know is, has this spreadsheet helped you? What is your average unit rate? Leave it down at the bottom. Are you getting less than what I'm going to get on the new Octopus rates? Are you expecting to move to Octopus or stay on Go? Are you even considering moving to Agile, their completely and utterly sporadic deal, which is currently got a peak maximum cap of 35p. Now, I do expect Octopus will probably increase this. They are probably losing quite a lot of money at that set cap price. Or are you looking at another company? If that other company offers a cheaper average rate, then let me know down below in the comments. If you are thinking of joining Octopus, go to evnick.com/energy. There's an Octopus referral code for me. We'll split 100 quid. You get 50, I get 50. I help make more videos like this and help the channel grow. Check out my other videos of what I've done on heat pumps and some other interesting things. Don't forget to click subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.